G'day and welcome to another episode. My name is Daethstro, the Aussie Geek, and today we are looking at the Legacy United Rescue Bot Chase. So I want to start by saying, is it a requirement in preschoolers' shows that the cop is always called Chase? Now I only have two examples of this off the top of my head because honestly I don't watch a lot of preschool shows. But you have Chase, who's here, in the rescue bots. You also have Chase, the police dog, in Paw Patrol. So for those of you who have little ones that watch shows like that, my youngest nephews are about 4 or 5 nowadays. Just a curiosity, is there a thing in all preschool shows that the police animal, robot, dog, whatever, is called Chase? Beside that, Chase isn't half bad. I actually like it. He does have a little bit of a clearance issue, and the transformation is a little bit more complicated than I think it needs to be. This is definitely not something you get for your preschooler because he or she will break the hell out of this, and yeah, it may be loved quickly, but it'll break just as quickly. So it's not half bad. Now, the other thing I want to point out is that his size does not work when it comes to how he's interpreted in the show. Now, I'll get into it in size comparison because I do also have Heatwave, but yeah, he's not the right size. That's his other problem. He doesn't scale well. But in saying that, he and Heatwave and pretty much any other Transformer that's come into Legacy, or in the case now, Age of the Primes, that was out of a different franchise has been G1ified so that they fit more of the aesthetic. So yeah, just remembering the episodes, he's a lot more smoother and rounder and all this. He's not so chunky. But that is neither there nor there. Now my tongue doesn't work. That is neither here nor there. He does have, quite a nice look. He does have ports and whatnot. We have some under here. We have one at the back here, which we'll use later. One here. There is one under these effects. I think this is how the instructions show them. Plus, I like color coding. So you have those. You've also got the actual pieces inside. Obviously, you have his hands. I always think I mentioned the upper shoulders. So he does look good. I won't lie, he does look good. And when we get to it, I will admit that his car mode gives me more Mad Max vibes. He does come with this grappling hook thing, which just simply slides over his fists. It does come in separate parts, so you can actually unplug that, and you can put them into here, put them there, put them wherever. But honestly, you can also, and I'm just thinking of this off the top of my head, you can sort of put it in the hand sort of thing if you want, but that just looks dumb and weird to me. So I just keep them in his little grappling hook thingamajig. They are a bit tight to get in and out. Oh, there's another port there. So just be aware of that. He does have this, so you can plug that into other 5mm ports, but I just like it going over its hand. Which that doesn't have any effect on that. It just zips over. So we'll just take that out of the way for now because we don't need it. So let's get down to articulation because he's not too bad, although there are some places that are a little bit restrictive. So his head can do a full 360. It can't look up. It can look down a little bit. And it can do a bit of side to side. I think that's a ball joint in there. Due to the backpack, we cannot get a full 360. It gets stuck there. You could probably fiddle with it, but I think you'd break something if you try to get anything more. Arm goes up this far. You have sort of this hinge. It'll bounce a little bit. It's more for transformation. I don't know. You could probably use that a little bit for something. I don't know. But arm goes out that far. We have bicep rotation. We have elbow bend that gets you that far on both sides. He has an inwards wrist, like so. I'm not sure why. Honestly, I don't have an excuse for that. It doesn't have any impact in the transformation, so I don't know why it's got it. So if this guy is based on another figure, maybe that did something, but I'm not sure. Someone will have to let me know. You do have waist rotation, no ab crunch. Legs go out, if I get his arms out of the way, leg goes out this far. You have upper thigh rotation as well. Leg goes way high, goes not too far back, because unless you sort of try to get that joint to move, not really. I think that's actually not only hitting the butt plate here, I don't think that's actually letting me go any further anyway. Knee bend gets you that far. You have inwards ankle that gets you this far. And you have outward ankle that gets you that far. And that's due to transformation. You can move his heel if that's of use to you, but he has no toe. So here we are. All right, let's get this guy transformed. Like I said, he's got a bit of a clearance issue, and I won't lie, he's a bit fiddly, all things considered. Now, you don't need to remove these if you don't want to. It's up to you. Obviously, you have to remove the other piece, but not this. All right, so we'll start with his legs, because they're actually kind of cool how they transform. But like I said, they are a little bit fiddly, so just be aware of that. So what we're going to do is we want to, and I can always never remember how this folds out. Which way is it? This way. All right, so we're going to fold his heel, and we're going to bring this, actually, we'll fold it out this way first, because we need it this way. So there is 2 tabs under here. I'll show it in a second. You have to, all right, so that tends to just pop out for me anyway. But what you actually want to do is, if you can get your finger in the right spot, you want to slide that around. So you have these 2 tabs that go into these 2 ports, but more often than not, you'll end up flipping it out instead of untabbing it. Anyway, so we bring that down, bring this down. And what we can do is we can flip the foot around, and it goes all the way around. You have this small tab that's going to go into this small port. So you flip all that around and plug that in. And then you can bring the lights down, and we can do the same thing on the other side. So bring the heel down. We'll see if we can actually get the leg to swing around. I don't. Now I'm literally untabbing the rest of it first. So bring that around. It's a little bit tighter on this one. Rotate our thigh. Bring all this up. Rotate this all the way around and tab it in, and bring down the headlight. Now this will all tab in a minute, but we're not up to that part yet. All right, so we're going to deal with the arms and the torso. So you're going to flip this piece down. It only comes down a little bit. Don't go too far. You want to rotate our head. And then this is going to untab up. And we're going to bring our shoulders down. All right. So we bring this all up. And then when it's gotten over the head, then you want to fold that flap back under and up. Now, the instructions say that it should go click, which it usually does. In other things, but this, it just sort of sits there. So just it'll probably move around a little bit. All right, so what we want to do is we want to lift our arms around like so. And this is where it gets a little fiddly, because what we need to do is we need to get this crutch plate all the way around here. So this is whole going to flip over. So this is why we don't worry about any of this, because we have to get around some other things first. So we're going to bring that all the way around as far as we can. Just watch where you put your hands so things don't move around a bit. And like I said, this is where things get a bit fiddly. So I'm just going to try and get my arms to stay where I preferably could want them, so I've still got some clearance. Now you have these 2 spots here. And I don't know how well I'm going to show it. I'm going to have to throw the light on. There is, and I'll just grab my tweezers. You have this piece here, which will go into here. So, like I said, it's fiddly, but you basically got to bring it around and get that in. There we go. So there's one. Do the same on the other side. Just watch where you put in your hands. Like so. And then you can tab things in place. So that's pretty good there. I haven't got this tabbed in how I want. Not yet. Now I'm just sort of pressing on that back piece to try and get that hip a little bit further forward. So we're going to squeeze these together. That way it locks those. Now once again, here's another little fiddly bit. You have this tab here and this tab here, which are going to go into here and here respectively. So your best bet is to fold the shoulders back so that we go onto these two tabs and just sort of line them up best you can, just so they're somewhat located. Now we want to sort of, hopefully it's lined up where the tabs are going to go. So this one has, and this one sort of has. So then we can press in. You might feel a little click. Sometimes it just slips. So this is just slipping. The only reason it's not fully going in is because of how I've got these arms. You have this tab here that's going to go on the inside of this blue piece. This tab here that's going to go on this side of the blue piece. And you have to flex a little bit and put a bit of pressure just to line things up. Make things stay straight. Now there is a sort of tab under the windscreens too. Whoops, I'll just pop that out. What is moving on me? It's that one. I keep unplugging it. It really just sits in there. I wish there was an actual hole, but it's not. It just sort of sits in the groove. All right, so we're almost done. Like I said, you can just fiddle a little bit. Just make sure things are angled the way they're supposed to. Now, here's the clearance issue for me. Right, so you have to get this piece into this gap. You have to get this piece into this gap. This doesn't quite fit. Now, it's up to you if you want to try shaving things off. I don't feel it's necessary, but I do find that you have to work it a little bit. So if you fold this down, as you can see, it's not going in. These aren't lining up too well. So you just sort of fiddle with it and just gradually get in. So right now I've got mostly in this side. It's this piece here behind the door. So just sort of do your best not to put too much pressure on it, but just enough that you can lock it in place. All right. Same on the other side. Bring that down. Once again, it's this door. So just try and pull. It's a pretty decently solid piece. Just beware of it not to put too much pressure on it or anything, or it could break, and that's not good. Anyway, so there is Chase in his vehicle mode. And like I said, he gives me Mad Max feels. Also, I think that's sitting as flat as it's supposed to, but and everything else is where it's supposed to be. Anyway, so it does look cool. It does give me Mad Max feels. It really does give me Mad Max feels because of the extra lights and the Mustang. Look at it, especially with these under mufflers, or side pipes, whatever you want to call them. I'm not very car focused. You know, don't want me to try and fix the car. I couldn't do it. Anyway, so he does roll really, really well. You can take his grappling hook and plug it on the back there, like so, or you can turn it around, you know, however you want to work it. Once again, you can put things on the tires or whatnot, which of course that's probably going to start sliding against things, and you can take these and replug them wherever you want. So yeah, it isn't too bad. Like, it's a nice car mode. It's just a little fiddly and a little flexy to try and get things. Flex, that's what I was trying to think of. Yeah, you have to flex the plastic a little bit to try and get things where they are. It stays solid. It is solid. It's not coming apart with that unless you put some effort into it. So yeah, it does work. It's just a little fiddly, that's all. So here he is with Windblade. As you can see, I think he's a deluxe, if I remember correctly. So yeah, he's not too big, but he's, you know, your average car size, honestly. All right, let's get down to transformation, getting back into his robot mode. We do final size comparisons and some other little thoughts. So this is where getting these out are a little bit more easy, because now you don't have anything and it's just auto flexes, so to speak, to get it back out, like so. Also the same with these sort of things. If you just sort of pull out a bit or bend the elbow or whatever, that's going to untab itself. That will start untabbing itself. You can probably even, not really. I was going to say you could probably do it from behind, but yeah, you get that and you just sort of get a bit of clearance and you can flip the arms out like so. All right, so that's starting to split. Now we do want to split the legs just to give us room to get that bonnet out, which once again, it's on this plastic. So it's just a matter of pulling things and hopefully the paint doesn't chip. Obviously, if it ends up chipped and everything, as long as it's because of love, that's all that matters. All right, so we're going to flip all this up until we have our crotch where it's supposed to. We're going to flip our arms around so they are where they're supposed to be. Just be aware of how they articulate. We're going to deal with the head. We're going to pull on the front here. This will lift up a little bit. You can get your finger in there, hopefully, or the head will do it for you. And it flips all the way around. We can rotate the head around and we can close that back up. But before we go any further, we want to get those arms up, because otherwise they're going to be in weird spots. Just push it straight up. It'll go where it's supposed to. I didn't show this, so I'll do it now. I may be able to do it without turning his head around, maybe. So you have this port that goes on that tab. That's what's holding that all together. I don't really think there's anything that holds the arm to get in place. I think it just sort of locks in. So bring that down, tab that in, press that in, and we have our upper body done. All right, so legs. Like I said, legs are cool. And pretty easy. So we're just going to, where are we? We want to flip up the headlights first to give us a bit of clearance. We want to flip around the foot. We're going to untab that joint. And that flips all the way around. And then we can we can extend the heel. Then this can all fold up like so. And that will just sit against the back here. It sort of has this sort of groove. And then, like I said before, we have these two tabs for these two ports, and they just folds around and tabs in. Not very deep, like just a little bit. That's why it's so easy just to flip it forward, honestly, but it is what it is. All right, other one, we can lift up his headlight. We rotate his foot. If I can get my hand in the right spot and grab the right thing, there we go. Flip that around. Bring his heel out. We can fold all this up. And once again, we can rotate this around. Same ports, same tabs. That locks into place. Bring his knee around. Knee around. Good God. And there is Chase back in his robot mode. And of course, then we can give him his goodies. And he's back to his grappling ways. Make sure the wings as far back as they can, just to make sure things stay nice and clear. So there we go. Now, for final size comparison, we'll see how this goes on. I'm still working how to work this, but there's MP10 and there's Chase. So I keep forgetting my camera is not in the center of my phone, so that doesn't quite work. From the top of his horns, if you want to call them that, just starting at Prime's crotch, I want to say. And only because I've got him, I can bring him in a little bit closer. Here he is with Age of the Primes, Heatwave. And as you can see, there is a size difference. I want to say that Heatwave is a leader class, I think. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, the classes are all a bit wonky at this point, honestly. And if I can focus on him instead of the background. Well, I keep thinking about using that bit of wrapped up box, but I don't think that really works too well. Anyway, so as you can see, he is smaller, honestly. I'll wait till We do his review before we do the vehicle mode, but when it comes to size comparison for their alt modes, I would say that they're about the right size, give or take. But, this is a but. For those of you who are actually collecting these guys, you will know that if you watch the Rescue Bot series, they're all the same size, pretty much. Some might be a bit bulkier, but for the most part, they're the same size. Chase is either too short or Heatwave is too tall. Now, we'll have to wait until we get Blades, and I can't remember the green scooper's name. I don't know if it's Scavenger or Scrapper or whatever they called it. It's been a while since I've watched Rescue Bots. But, yeah, they're the wrong size. If you're in it for them to be the proper size, then it's not going to work for you because Chase is either too small or Heatwave's too big. I would say Chase is too small. But considering these guys are G1ified, honestly, and I would say that Heatwave is based on the Legacy Bulkhead. I'm going to say the Heatwave for some reason. He's based off the Bulkhead mold. That kind of makes sense because honestly, he's a bit bigger, so this is probably your Bumblebee size, maybe your Wheeljack. But they do look good together. As with a lot of extra sets I've been getting, I had no intention of getting the Rescue Bots, but I'm glad I got them. Their just size does not work if you want them legitimate, the size from the show. However, they do look good together, as you can see. But I won't go much into Heatwave until we get to Heatwave's review, because this is not Heatwave's review, this is Chase's review. So, yeah, looks pretty damn good. Transformation's a little fiddly, I've forgotten what the word I used. Basically, yeah, it is a little bit fiddly, and has got some of the odd clearance issues. But it's not too bad, I was pretty happy. I got him the same not too long after. God, what did I buy him with? I can't remember. But I'm just sort of blathering at this point, so let's leave that where it is. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, give me a thumbs down. I promise you it will not hurt my feelings. Subscribe, ring that bell, leave me a comment. And apart from that, thanks for watching. I'll catch you later.